There's this pattern that I've noticed time and time again. Things that are silly often cut the deepest when they choose to have a brief moment of seriousness. Think a comedian who takes on a serious acting role and knocks it out of the park, or a comedy that gets really grounded for a moment. I think it's the contrast in moods that makes those serious moments hit harder, like a pinch of salt in a batch of sweet cookies. This episode of My Dress Up Darling did the same thing, giving us a profound injection of emotion into this happy-go-lucky rom-com with Amane's backstory. In the end, I think it's another big leap forward for a show that has already blown away my expectations. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to Frame by Frame, the series where every week I make a video on each episode of these 4 shows, covering one big idea along with some smaller segments. I hope you'll subscribe to follow along for the rest of the season. I'd love to have you aboard. Let's start with a brief rundown of the plot of Season 2, Episode 3. Amane shows Marine and Gojo around a specialty cosplay shop, telling them about how he cosplays as female characters. Back at the cosplay event, Marine and Amane take photos with some other people. Amane opens up about his past and the impact that cosplaying has had on his life for the better, even if some people disapproved. They part ways after the event, now friends. Later, Gojo goes to one of Marine's photo shoots. Seeing her in this new light, he gets a bit flustered by this different side of her. After the shoot, they go to pick up a birthday cake for Shizuku, Marine's favorite fictional character. Seeing Marine like this reassures Gojo that he does know her as well as he thought. Next up is The Shot, the scene from this episode that really caught my eye. Just in general, I think that this episode recaptured a lot of the magic from the season premiere. The characters felt more fluid again, the visual gags were creative and funny, and the facial expressions were both brash and subtle when appropriate. On the downside, the unmoving NPCs in the cosplay shop were a tough one. My favorite scene from today though, other than the one I'm saving for the main idea, has to be the extended sequence at the cosplay event. First off, the part where Marine's eye tape comes off is so visually detailed. That run to Gojo is so expressive. Every freeze frame is perfect. Then the visuals of Amane telling the 2 other cosplayers that he's a guy are really funny. They nail the tone they're going for. Finally, I love a good montage sequence, and this one more than satisfies. I'm most interested in this shot of the photographer, where he looks up. Why this little piece of movement in an otherwise static gallery? I can't quite figure it out, but it's another visual flair that really grabbed my attention. Let's get into the main idea for today's episode. It has to be about Amane and his backstory. Every beat of this scene was not just handled perfectly, it took risks, took the scene in interesting directions, and made something really special that has a weight to it that you would never expect from a show like this. First thing, right off the bat, is the silence. This show is almost constantly accompanied by some lighthearted backing track, and to pull it away immediately grabs your attention. It puts you on edge, as you're not sure how anyone in Amane's backstory is going to react to his cross-dressing. Then, it's the POV shots. Always effective, it puts us directly into Amane's backstory. The music is back now, but it works, gently emotional. As Amane tells us about how his family is supportive and the music swells, we believe that maybe everything is just going to turn out alright. This is already moving enough, and a really cool way to make backstory engaging and thoughtful. But then we get the gut punch that makes this an amazing scene, with the college girl coming to Amane's house and finding the dresses. The music cutting out again is like pulling the rug out from under you. Every sound effect is harsh, the cuts jarring. Amane is small and alone in this shot. The eyeball twitch right here is tiny but the perfect touch. Gojo in the present completely understanding how Amane felt is so clear, but is the epitome of show don't tell. The backing up, the disturbed look, the dress crumpled on the floor, it's evocative, not a frame wasted. And then another whiplash moment with Amane saying he dumped her. It feels like we're about to be weirdly thrown back to a lighthearted mood, but Marine and Gojo give the scene gravity again. The idea here is powerful. Yes, Amane has dealt with all of this on his own and is happy now. But that doesn't mean that getting love and support from others isn't equally impactful and important. Everything, from the voice acting to the pacing to the shot selection, feels perfect in its execution. The scene from episode 1 with Gojo at the Halloween party felt like the appetizer to this scene here. That put up my radar that this could be a season that handles deeper and more interesting subject matter in cool ways. And this was that brought to fruition. I never suspected I would come across something like this in a cheery romance like My Dress-Up Darling, but I'm really glad that I did. One last note on that scene, and this one has to do with the adaptation of the My Dress-Up Darling manga. I went through and read this scene. It's good, don't get me wrong, but the way that the show can use things like sound and cuts to give the scene weight and momentum really elevates it here. There's these long, pregnant pauses that leave you on the edge of your seat. And a shot like this, that hides the girl's reaction until the last possible moment, continues to build that tension. This isn't any criticism of the manga and how it handled it. I just wanted to point out a really cool way that the anime adaptation took a 2-page scene and chose to build on it. Our last segment today is our one big question looking ahead. For today's episode, I'm asking, where is this season going to end up landing on the visuals? I enjoyed episode 2, but there's no denying it had less flair than the season premiere. Here, I felt like it recaptured more of that magic. It's kind of the only thing still sitting in the back of my mind when I watch this show. Is it going to flip-flop like this as we go on, or is it going to commit one way or the other? Obviously, it's context dependent. The aggressive pacing and visuals would not have fit the emotional core of this episode, but I have my fingers crossed that the lively style keeps up moving ahead. And that's it. That's the second episode of week 3 of Frame by Frame. Stay tuned for my next episode about Rascal Does Not Dream of Santa Claus. If you missed any past episodes, I have playlists for all of these series on my channel. As always, liking and subscribing helps a lot and will keep you in the loop. I'm SlamAnime, and have a great rest of your day.